sit. I always have Crosby sit at a doorway before I open the door because it's harder for him to stay in a sit-stay when you open the door. So why not make it as hard as we can for him so that he learns at a higher level. So as you can see, I step through. He waits till I come back next to him. If you want, occasionally, good, and give him a treat like that. When you first start, I'm just doing it on the video to show you what I was doing like the first week that he was with me. Now, he doesn't need a treat because he does this all day long, but at first, if you wanted to do that for the first few days when he's back with you, you could do that, and then you can phase that out pretty quickly. And then, okay, he's really excited, as you can see. He's that kind of little puppy. But I still reinforce this slow walk through the front door. And then I'm always turning into him, and even though he's hopping and jumping around, you know, with the leash, you're gonna be doing these little prompts like this. And so you probably saw that as I turned left to go close the door, I didn't have the leash really long. If you're not managing the leash, he's gonna be all over the place. So hold it down here where you would normally hold it if you're walking him. There's still slack, it's still loose, but you're able to do these little signals like that. And then, okay, we're gonna go straight to this little mat exercise that we do. He's very excited because we have the camera person standing right there. Sit. Of course, he gets excited for almost anything anyway. So we have him sit in front of the mat. With your right hand, you pat his chest and no. So if he makes a mistake, at first, you can do these resets where you turn him away from his mistake. You saw my body actually kind of herded him in a circle. At the same time, I did these little prompts, little signals like that to keep him in line. So we're back here, right hand, go to your mat, and then down, and stand in front. He usually will straighten himself out. If he does lay sideways, you can stand in front and with a little reward like this, kind of lure him to lie straighter. Good, and he always waits until you actually place that reward there and withdraw. He never's gonna, and you never want to let him grab that treat out of your hand. You want him to always be respectful and calm when you deliver the reward. Just like this, you see how he's waiting? Good, you saw how I was really deliberate. I'm holding it like this, and I just place it on the mat. Literally, I'm placing it there. He waits, it's just like this. He waits until I let go of it and withdraw, and he takes it. That's the way you want to do it every time. If you go down there and he starts taking it out of your hand, you're gonna have no kind of benefit from this exercise, because the whole idea is that every interaction with him and you is a calm one where there's all these little rules, which is why I'm videoing it for you so there's no way to forget on how to do this little game with him, and that's probably how he thinks of it, as a game. And good. You definitely reinforce every one of them, and that ends up with him being a little calmer. I'm going to pick up the leash for a little bit. When you release him out of this exercise, just after a few minutes a day, 5 minutes a day, or whatever you're going to do, 5 minutes is a good amount of time to do it. He's a little bit calmer every time you do this because of the details, because of the quality of what you do when he's on the mat. That's what matters. So this is just a basic downstay, and because he learned this on the mat first, he started this from day one, the first day he was with us, because he did it on the mat really well, and then I started doing it on the mat outside in a couple different places. Now I can do this anywhere, and he doesn't need the mat. But you still want to use the mat, good, as something to really stabilize him in your household just coming back. Definitely use the mat for a while because it's the ultimate in calming exercise for him. And there's nothing like this exercise to stabilize him. If you can only do one thing a day, do this, because everything is encompassed in this. The stay, to downstay, and having him be calm and focused. And this leads to him doing well in all the other things you're going to do with him as well. So once I've done these things in this room, walked around him, reinforced the downstay, things like that, now I'm going to start doing things that are harder for him to handle. I'm going to walk way, even past the camera person, way to the back of the house, way out of sight, come back. It's okay if you do this, if he turns to look at you with his head, but he's not allowed to turn his body so it's turned that way. So if he does that, you'd say no, and you gently but firmly put him back. You could always kind of lure him back, and he would just turn back around. Good. In this case, he didn't do that. He looked, but he didn't turn his body around. I'm going to go in the back over here, behind a door, and knock on the door. That's a little bit harder for him to handle. Down. You can remind him, whenever you do something difficult like this, you can remind him what to keep doing. Good. I made a bunch of noise there. Good. I know he's turning slightly, but it's not enough. It's not enough to have that be a mistake. The important thing is that no matter where I'm going and what noises I'm making, he's still basically staying in a downstay, even though he's turning a little bit slightly. So I'm not going to reset him just for that little thing. Good. There's a lot of other things you could do, of course. Whenever you sit down, and of course I'm being dramatically noisy, it's usually an invitation for the dog to run over to you, but he knows, he's so good now, he knows that, good, that he doesn't get up for anything. He only leaves this mat and a downstay when he's released in a very specific way. So the way we taught him that is just practicing all kinds of stuff. I really haven't practiced this very much. Rolling around in a chair could be difficult for a lot of dogs to stay focused. I really didn't practice this much, but I'm pretty certain that almost anything that I could try right now, he'd stay there because we've practiced so much with him. Good with other things. So now this is usually the most important stuff. When you leave the dog alone, inside, you leave the room, leave the house, go out and do things with the doorway and outside. So if you're ever going to do something that you think is difficult for him to handle, it's okay before you do it to remind him what to keep doing. So I'm going to say down, go out here, we'll start with this. Good. That was very good. And the reward is bigger as well. Good. Big piece because that's really difficult to do. So if he does something exceptional, give him a bigger reward for that, and he'll understand the difference. That's the mail flap, the doorbell, knock on the door. I just threw everything at him at once, all those noises all at once. Good, nice big reward. And also if he does something exceptional, you can say only for that circumstance, you can say a different word that makes him know when you say that special word that was really special. So we'll do everything at once. Doing this, mail flap, doorbell, knocking on the door, big, extra big reward because that was really good. Excellent. If you say that special word when he does something that's really hard for him to do and give him a bigger reward, then he'll know the difference. And then if you ever say excellent, which you don't say very often, he'll know that that's something that's very special and that he needs to remember how to do whatever you just had him do. And he'll get a little bit better because of that every time. Good. So there's a million things you can do, of course, to test his downstay on this mat. You can pull on the leash like that and he won't leave. Good. You can try it from different angles. Of course, he knows that he only leaves this mat and leaves a downstay when you release him. So there's all kinds of things that you could do. You never want to do this for too long. You always want to end with anything you're doing with him on a success. So he's doing so well, and it's probably been 5 minutes anyway, that we're going to stand next to him. This is the only way he ever leaves. And you can even practice his anticipation. He probably thinks, oh, well, now I'm about to be released. But you see how he's really waiting for the release command? Good. He's really waiting. A lot of dogs would follow your body like on automatic pilot. That means they're not focused, they're not in the moment with us, they're not thinking, but he's really waiting for that release command. Okay. Sit. I'm going to let him go outside and have a little free time. So I'd lead him straight to the door. In your house, it would be the back door. And do this doorway thing where you step out, you have him sit, you step out, You control that boundary, which is really important. Great place to teach a dog to be calm. And it affects him in other high excitement areas, zones like doorways, gateways, curbs. Okay. Make sure he doesn't pull you through. See how he's being so careful? And then on the outside, have him sit. And then on the outside, release him to be free. Go. And then he can be all excited and have some free time. So that's the way that you want to release him when you take him out of that stationing mat exercise and put him outside. Sit. Good. So we're always going to have him sit before he goes in the crate. Go. Good boy. And you know, he was facing the camera person because he loves her, and you know, usually you're not going to have somebody standing there pointing something at you when you're putting him in and out of the crate. But still, he was sitting, and he waited till I sent him in, said go, and he ran in. Of course, the reason he always loves going in his crate is because he goes in, he gets a reward. And even if you don't have a reward, because you practice this way when you can, he'll go in anytime, and you can just, if you don't have a little reward to give him, reach in and tell him he's good and pet him a little bit. And this is when I take off his little training collar. And this little training collar is, it's a little bit loose on him, since you can see throughout the videos that there's no popping and jerking and hanging, none of that crazy stuff. And it's just a very light kind of signals, little prompts with the leash, because he's such a little dog and he's very sensitive anyway. So this training collar, the beauty of it is it just closes when you do a little prompt like that. It closes with the same pressure all the way around, back and front. It's not like a regular collar that's right here. It's like putting power steering on him. It's so much easier for you to handle. And if these are used in that manner and not in a stupid way, which is to correct and cause pain, which is not what they're supposed to be used for, and you use it the way that you see me throughout the videos, and you get to see the desired results, it's fine and good to use, and it helps you a lot. And the beauty is, if you don't use it later on, he's going to respond to those little prompts on the leash on just his regular collar later as well. So once again, it's not whether you use it or not. It's not like with food, whether you use food or you don't use food. It's how you use it that matters, that makes it good or bad. So that's how we use this. When I put him in the crate, I always take this off, and I just hang it up on his crate door like that. And at my house, he sleeps overnight in the crate every night. We bring his food to him. He eats in there. He gets treats and chewies in there. Everything good is in there. He loves his crate. Obviously, he ran in there when I told him to go in there. We also have him wait before he comes out, which I'll show you in a minute. But throughout the day, it's this putting him in and taking him out throughout the day, all day long, in and out, in and out, in and out. And then overnight, we make sure he goes to the bathroom one last time before he goes in. And then we try to let him out as early as possible in the morning, because he's still a puppy and he's much better than he was when he first came here, but he still could have an accident from time to time if you don't let him out enough. So we just let him out a lot. And so that's always important to do. When you take him out, for a while, I want you to put this on him, because you're going to be walking him around your house and having him sit at doorways and all that kind of stuff. So you just attach the leash to this little training collar called a prong collar. You attach the leash to the funny looking buckle. Don't touch the round one. It's just a spacer. So it's supposed to be like this as you hold it. If it's twisted, it's not going to work. So you can let it hang like that, so it's not twisted, and then it should be like this. Leash is already on. You open the door. If he tries to come out, you say no, no, and just kind of give the door a little tap like that. Nope. He's going to wait. When he waits like that, good. He gets a reward. Always stick your hand in so he's not hanging out to get the reward, of course, because the whole idea is that, good, that he waits in there and he respects this boundary until you allow him to come out. So he's munching on his little treat there. I'm going to reach in, hook this up. Once you've done this a little while, it's so easy to do. You don't have to be looking at it to do it. You just do it by feel. He's got that training collar on already. And I'm just going to reinforce this little waiting at the boundary thing and give him another reward. So you can see when he waits, I give him a treat, and I would be saying good as I did that. If he tries to come out, and I say no. you'd say no like that if he tries to come out. And if he waits, it's good. And it's a little training routine unto itself where he respects this boundary. It's a very important boundary. It's the boundary to his den. If you control this boundary the way I showed you, then he's more likely to take you seriously out on the street when you say come, or whatever the situation is. This fits together with everything else you're going to do with him. To allow him to come out, you just pat your leg and say, okay. And he's going to come out. And then I always keep this closed, because if it's wide open, he can run in and out as whatever he wants, and you squander your power of controlling his access into his den. So that's why you keep it always closed. Okay, then we're going to go back outside again, of course. Sit. I'm going to do the whole doorway thing. Sitting, waiting. This happens all day long. Okay, comes out with me, and now we're going to take him for a walk. So we're going to close this door behind us and take him for a walk. Sit. Greeting routine. I have him sit, I step away from him, hand the person the reward or the treat, come back next to him, I'm going to pat his chest and say, make sure he really waits. He doesn't jump up like that. Make sure he's really waiting before you release him. Go say hi. He goes over there, gets petted, gets a treat. Come. Call him back to me. Good. See how I grab the leash with my left hand? Everything happens at once. He comes, his nose touches this little target here, like this. I open it, he gets the reward, and I grab the leash. Everything happens at once. And then you just walk into him like this. And if he's really squirrely, like he is today, you do a little full circle reset. Sit. And then do it again. It's a great exercise to teach him to be more courteous with people that come over to your house, strangers or people he's really excited to see. It's a great way to practice your sit stay, your go command, your come command. No. He's very excited right now. Make sure he waits. Go say hi. Gets the treat, gets fed, gets petted. Come. Call him back to you. Good. Just a great way to practice a lot of your training in another, like a real life context. Sit. And you can also throw in a couple other moves to make it a little bit harder for him if you want to practice a little bit more. See how it makes it harder for him? So if he makes a mistake, you say no. Do your little reset like that and reset him. Make sure he really waits until you do your little walk around thing like this. Nope, and he's very distracted right now. So this is good to have on video so you can see what I do. Those times when he is having an issue with me walking around him. Last time I walked around his left side, or his right side. This time I walked around his left side. He's finally waiting. Now I'll send him over. Go say hi. Last time. And I'll call him back to come. Come. So I just wanted to show you that greeting routine because it's another way to keep him calmer. Sit. When you have visitors come to your house, it's best to do it outside of your house, in your front, by your front door, and then you all come in together. Then you can do the front door exercise as well with him on your way in. He's much calmer inside after you do this outside with your guests. So it's a really valuable thing to do even with people that he knows really well, as you get back to the sit stay and the recall and the go command and all that. When I'm calling Crosby to me, I always follow a couple of different rules every time. See how he's playing with the leash right now? He's super excited for some reason today. He doesn't always do that. He hardly ever does that, in fact. Maybe because we have a camera person here. But I never struggle with him. I never try to take it away from him. I just say, come. I call him out of that behavior. I get him next to me. I have him sit. Basically, I ignore that bad behavior, okay? And then I get him to do something with me, like a sit stay, or it could be a down stay as well, to get him back into focused, in the moment mind with me, where he's actually working for me. And he can't be reactive if he's thinking and staying in a sit stay, for example. Hey, he gets a reward for sitting there. So we're going to start that recall thing over again. Go. When I call him to me, left hand leash, right hand reward. Come. Always back away. Good. He gets that reward. At the same time, I take the leash, and if I want to have him sit next to me, I can say sit. If not, I can just switch. Okay, I can just switch hands like that and just keep walking him. Sit. You can do whatever you want. Down. Sometimes his down command, he will usually go down the first time that he hears you say it. Sometimes if he's really distracted, if there's a lot of things going on, you have to kind of help him. Today there's a lot of noise around here, so good. So I had to, you probably saw in the video, I had to do just this. I barely touched the leash though. Basically he sees your foot go up and he just drops if he needs a little help. And every time that you do this with him and put him into a down in that way, it makes it easier for him. He gets better actually. And stay is built into down, so even if I drop the leash and walk away, he knows to stay there till I come back. He only gets up in one way, and that's when I release him in that very specific way. Good. When I reward him, it's just like as if he's on the mat, just like the mat exercise. He doesn't touch my hand. I put it on the ground between his feet. He takes it off the ground, and he's waiting to be released. Of course, I go next to him, release him. If he pops up before you release him, you say no. If you're here, you can just step on the leash, and he'll go back down. If he pops up and runs around again, I step into him, do that little reset, put him back, say no, put him back, and then finish the exercise. And he needs to wait until you stand back next to him like this. You pat your leg and say, okay, sit. And then of course, if we're going to release him to be free, we never release him out of a downstay, because of all dogs that would do this, he would definitely do this. Pop up and run around and act crazy and all that. Any kind of calmness that he would develop in that downstay would be gone. So we always have him, we say, okay, and he sits, and then we have him sit for a moment, and then we release him from a calm calm sit stay. Go just like that. And he's still going to jump around, but at least you get to have him you get to release him in a bit calmer way, doing it that way from a calm sit stay. If you release him straight out of a downstay, he's going to be hyper, he's going to anticipate that release, and I don't think he's going to have as good a downstay than if you do it the way I'm doing it.